Hey guys, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is 1 o'clock on Thursday, which means it is time for a video. I'm just going to double check off here to the left to be sure that we're transmitilating. It looks like we are, so that is good. And I've even got, let me get the light over here a little better. There we go. All right. So here is my card for today. I told you this is right in my wheelhouse. It's got all the things. It's got the crumb cake. It's got the collage. It's got the subtle colors. It's pretty much Mary's kind of card. Hey, Amy, how are you doing today? Appreciate you coming on. Alrighty, so let's get started. Everything will be on my blog tomorrow. I hope that you guys have picked up the Cottage Rose bundle. It is gorgeous. It's part of the Abigail Rose suite, and it coordinates with the Abigail Rose DSP. Thanks, Amy. Hey, Bree. Hey, Vicky. Appreciate you guys coming. Hey, Debbie. Yeah, good to see you again. Alrighty, so, and we also are going to be using the elegant Eucalyptus 3D embossing folder, and this is a set of 2, so I'm only using the 1. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Everything will be on my blog tomorrow, as always. Well, I mean, in theory, if the God willing and the creek don't rise, as they say here in the South. They say that other places too, probably. Hey, Judy. Hi, Faith. Hi, Janice. And appreciate you guys coming. Hey, Judy, I'm glad you made a live myself. Okay, so I've got some of this paper. Can you see how cool that looks? It looks like it's been stamped on burlap. I really kind of like how that looks. And we may discover that Mary's ink. That's not ink. This is glue. Don't call that ink. That's glue. Ink jupe. Yes, it's going to be one of those days. Is it Monday? My glue bottle may be getting close to empty. Okay, so I've just matted that on a piece of petal pink. And now we're going to make the center embossing piece. So let me go ahead and close this up. Hey, Susan, appreciate you joining. And glad you were able to get on live. Okay, so what I'm going to do first... Can you guys see that this has some score lines in it? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this piece of crumb cake in the 3D embossing folder, the Eucalyptus one. And I'm just centering it up on the design. And we'll pull our little mini doohickey here. See if I can get the right sandwich going. Okay, so there's plate numero uno and plate numero 40. And I think that's going to get it. We'll see here in about 2 seconds, won't we? There it goes. I am so happy with the new magnetic cutting plate. I don't know if you guys have bought it yet, but it is really quite amazing. One of the things I love about it is, unlike the old magnetic plate, the magnet on the new one is the entire plate. So you remember how it used to be? You'd put your die on and it would go popping all over the place because it was trying to go to a magnet. Well, it doesn't happen like that with this new one. So I'll be anxious to see when the mini magnetic plate comes out. It is not out yet. Okay, so you can see we've embossed this in the Eucalyptus embossing folder. So now this is a 2-inch wide piece by 5 1/4. 5 1/4, yep. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my score tool and I'm going to put the embossed side down. So I have the debossed side up. And I'm just going to score at 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. And I'm being kind of heavy-handed with it, okay? I've got the big end of my stylus, but I want this to be a noticeable score line. All right, there we go. Now we're going to adhere it to its petal pink matola. Yuma by the sea. Yeah, there's no sea there. We used to call Del Rio by the sea. There's no sea there either. Not really. Okay, so I've got this matted on a 2 1/8 by 5 1/4 inch piece of petal pink. And then I'm going to, hey Lenny, adhere it to the card front. You guys may get to see me open a new liquid glue because I feel like it's running out. Okay, so all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use my grid paper to make sure that's straight. I'm lining up on this grid line right there, top and bottom. Be sure I'm not sticking over any, and there we go. Alrighty. Next thing, we have some die cuts, and let's go through what I did. The first thing I did is I stamped this leaf image in crumb cake ink on crumb cake cardstock and cut it out with the matching die. Okay, so I've got 2 of those. And then I used this die, and this die to cut a couple of petal pink and soft succulent die cuts, okay? And these look like these and theirs and those ends. All right. Hey, Deb, glad you could join. All right, let's get these up. Spurious miniature dimensional cover. The A Million Thanks set had mini dimensionals in it, so I've got those little boogers going just everywhere. Isn't that the most awesome kit? I love that kit. Okay. So before we get too much further down the road, I am going to color these leaves right here, and I am going to do that with a Q-tip and some old olive ink. Okay, now I am not trying to color. Hey, Kathy, I hope you're enjoying your lunch. I'm not going to try to color the whole thing. I am just putting the suggestion of color, okay? So just like when you're using a sponge dauber, and I'm assuming everybody knows that this is a Q-tip, just like when you're using a sponge dauber or your blending brush, you want to color off your where you're trying to color. You want to color on some scrap paper first. Remember, you can always add color. It's really, really hard to take it off. So I'm really, truly just brushing. You may not even be able to see the color that's transferring onto here, which is actually what I want. I would rather have to go over this leaf 6 or 7 or 12 times and get just the right amount of color on it, then have to go, oh my goodness, now I have like this big splotch of old olive color. Okay, so this works really just like a sponge dauber, only it's tiny. Okay, so you can see the amount of color that I've got there, not a lot. We'll do the other one as well. And maybe you've noticed I have not re-inked. So I have a really, really kind of dryish now Q-tip. All right. Now, do not be impressed with my color choices. I totally stole this color combination from the sample in the catalog. If you do not have a catalog, I highly recommend that you get one because it's a great source of inspiration. But I probably could have made 1,000 cards and never put old olive with the petal pink and the soft succulent. Never would have done it. Not on my own because I'm just not that smart. Okay, so those are colored. The next thing I want to show you is the highly awesome, oops, excuse my arm, the highly awesome Ruban Fini Naturel, aka the Natural Finish Ribbon. This is part of the Abigail Rose suite, and you can stamp on it or you can color it. Now, I'm not going to stamp on it this time. I'm going to color it with my dark, soft succulent Stampin' Blend. And here's what I discovered as my way to do this. I'm taking my craft ruler and I'm just lining the ribbon up on my grid paper, and I'm laying the craft ruler down, and I'm keeping it relatively straight. Now, it's ribbon that you're coloring, so it's not a rocket. It isn't a space shuttle. It isn't even a gate to the pasture. So if the line is not perfect, that's fine too. But I like the line to be sort of perfect. So I'm just coloring along with that blend, with the brush end. And we'll go down a little ways. I don't need too long of a piece. Just like that. Okay. You know what we should try? We should practice since we're here and the stamps are here and the ribbon is here and all the other stuff is here. Let's stamp it and see what it looks like. We'll stamp down here where we're not going to use it. Okay. And I'm going to stamp it in Old Olive. Yes, Joan, this does have some really good sentiments. So let's see how it looks, shall we? Oh my. Yeah, baby. Yeah, bye-bye. Oh yeah. Isn't that awesome? That is so stinking cool. I'm going to keep that little piece. I'm sure I can find something to do with it in the not too distant future. Hey, Marianne. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. So now I'm going to cut this ribbon here and set this aside somewhere where I can use it later. And then I'm going to cut down here. I'm just going to use my model here to see about how long I need, and that's about right. And then this ribbon frays quite nicely. You can just pull the end out like that. Look at all the things you're learning on this one video. That's amazing, Mary. Oh my goodness, Mary. Okay. And then you're just going to cut those little ends. Obviously, the more you pull, the more frayedier it gets. Frayedier. I don't think that's a word, but it's okay. There we go. So that end is frayed, and we'll do the same on the other end. Thanks, guys. Isn't this cool ribbon? I love this ribbon. And, you know, being a demonstrator who has a business, you know that I don't use things once they've retired. So it may not give you as big a thrill as it gives me that this is in the annual catalog, which means we'll have it for a year, because I really like this ribbon. I really like this ribbon. It's going to be awesome, and I suspect you're going to see a lot of it on my cards, especially now that I have stamped it. Ooh, this will be pretty at Christmas time. Ooh. This is now just trying to perplex me and bamboozle me and gobsmack me all at the same time. There we go. Pull that out. There we go. Now it's all good. Now it's all good. It's all good now. Okay, it's all good now. Good now. All right. So we've got everything ready. The last thing we're going to make before we start putting our little collage together is a sentimente. And I am going to stamp "You Are Positively the Greatest" in Soft Succulent on a piece of Very Vanilla. The Milli Vanilli. I guess y'all are old enough, I certainly am, to remember the great Milli Vanilli lip syncing scandal. There we go. I don't know, that was really, really random. I went from Very Vanilla to Milli Vanilli to lip syncing scandal. I don't know. We have a new punch called Lasting Label, and I'm going to use it for this. Let's see if I can get it lined up. There we go. Okay, now we are ready to put the front together. Together. I know, it does. It's perfect. It's perfect because you could, if you've got a Stampin' Blend, you can make this striped piece, or you can stamp it like I did for a demonstration. That's really bugging me right there. There we go. I'm just gonna cut that booger right out of there. I'm gonna cut that twine right out of my ribbon. That is not how that song goes, but I think y'all recognize the reference. Okay. Huh. My sample did not bamboozle me quite so much. Although I have to say, guys, I did this sample about 17 different ways from Sunday. Just saying. It was like I'd completely lost my capability of making decisions. I just didn't. You'll be glad to know I'm no longer flying actively, so I will not have this decision-making difficulty on short final. When I hit decision point, I won't have it. You won't need to worry about that. Okay, so I built my collage. Obviously, you know that I know how my collage is going to go because I've already done one. But what I recommend when you're trying to build a collage is just put it together and dry fit it a lot. Do a lot of dry fitting. You will be very, very happy that you did. And when your brain says, aha, then that's when you stop. That's when you know. You will know it. It'll be like all of a sudden everything will be like, oh God, I don't like that. I don't like this. And then all of a sudden your brain's going to go, yeah. Remember that old movie, Rustler's Rhapsody, when he was chewing on his root that was actually some kind of hallucinogenic thing? And the angel sang when it finally kicked in, and he said, there it is. That'll be how you are. You'll be like, there it is. Obviously, I know what it is right now because I've already done it. There we go. We're going to go like that. And then this is going to go over the top. And then this is going to go over the top. And I have two more little pieces that are going to tuck under. Okay? I do know a lot of musicals. Rustler's Rhapsody. Rustler's Rhapsody was really a good one because he rode, no kidding, a Palomino American Saddlebred. That was his horse. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. It was the coolest thing ever. It was the coolest thing ever. All right, so I'm just using liquid glue and adhering everything into place. Very, very simple. I love collages because once you get them, once your brain says, yeah, baby, there it is, then it's just a matter of gluing it all down. And when I did this the first time, when I got it and got that angel singing from on high, I took a picture of it. Some people swear by the saran wrap method. That method and I do not get along. So I use the iPhone 14 method. But you guys do what works for you, because once you get it, you kind of want to keep it, right? I mean, you don't want to take it apart and then be like, did this go first? Where did this piece go? I don't even know where this piece went. So you kind of want to keep a little record of it. Hey, Diana from North Carolina, North Kakalaki. All right, we'll put that back there like so. And then just keep doing it. Now you could, if you wanted, use adhesive sheet on this, but to be quite honest, I kind of like the way the ends of the flowers raise up. But that's just me. If you prefer the adhesive, you're welcome to do that. Okay, I've got almost all of the things on. I've kept the little leaves, and I'm going to tuck them in when I'm done. What I'm going to do here is roll a little line of liquid glue across. Hey, Donna from Washington. And then I'm going to adhere my piece of ribbon with that liquid glue. You could also use glue dots if that's your preference. I'm pretty okay with this. And now, while that is kind of setting up, the disadvantage to using liquid glue here is you have to give it a second to set up. If you use a glue dot, it will be pretty much instantaneous. One could even say not pretty much, but rather actually literally instantaneous. All right. Goodness. Come off of there. These are the ones I snipped. This was the end piece, and I snipped them all so that I'd be all prepared. But I may or may not have done a very good job with that. Okay. Now, we'll put this on over the top. Washington has got all the weather today, every different kind of weather there is. My goodness, did y'all see those huge fires in Orange County? Laguna Niguel. It's not terribly, I mean, I grew up in Orange County, but in Garden Grove. And to be honest, it's been so long, I don't remember how far Garden Grove is from Laguna Niguel. All right, so I'm just going to put this in the center here. Like so. And then I'm going to take my tweezers and a little more liquid glue and add in these little doohickeys right here. The 89 glue dots. I like that. I mean, I have to ask though, is 89 a critical number? Or would 87 work? Or would 89, 90 not work? I mean, tell all. We need to know. We need to know. I'm just going to tuck this little guy in here. Now, I also played around with the idea of a few very vanilla leaves, and I decided I didn't need them. They weren't required. They weren't required at all. I'm going to pick this little guy up because I want to stick that little soft succulent dude in just a little further. but if I can't, I won't. If it won't, it won't. You know, it is what it is. Because sometimes it just has to be recalcitrant. But there it went. It did its thing. Okay? And then we'll tuck another one over here. Come on, liquid glue. Don't fail me now. We're almost to the end of this part. I'm going to tuck this little guy in under that ribbon, like so, right there. And then another one in petal pink. 90 is too many, 88 is too few. Copy that. Everybody take a screenshot so you'll know 89 is the correct number of glue dots to adhere your piece of ribbon. Or you could just do a little line of liquid glue. Although using 89 glue dots would be a boon for the glue dot industry. Just saying. All right, so there's our collage, and I'm going to finish off with a few soft succulent 2021-23 in color opal rounds. These are brand new. I'm going to use a large one up here and a couple of little small ones out in the field a little bit. Not attached to my ribbon. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Sakes alive. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Okay, and there is our card front. Dunske. Now, on the inside, we're going to do a little stamping and a little more Q-tip coloring. So first I'm going to add happy birthday. I decided this would be a happy birthday card. Of course, the inside could be anything now. I mean, you are positively the greatest is pretty open-ended, right? So you can choose. Maybe not hoping you're feeling better soon, but, you know, maybe pump them up and then tell them why you're calling. Remember I told you I like to pre-test my stamps because I want to be sure it's going to stamp straight. So I'm lining it up with the grid. I'm lining up the stamped image or the printed image. And if the stamped image is the same, then I know that as long as I do that again, I should be good to go. And I was happy with that. So we'll give that a little stamp. Parfait. Ventura County, yes. Well, I hope you don't have family there because there's a lot of houses burning hard. Like hard. All right, so I have this pretty image, isn't that so pretty, from Cottage Rose, and I'm going to stamp it in crumb cake, right there. And in a fit of efficiency, I will do the same on the front of my Very Vanilla envelope. Look at me, thinking ahead and all that stuff. Got a little bit carried away there. That's okay, it'll dry. I'm going to set it aside so it will dry without me bothering it and making a mess and having to round file that envelope. And I will get my cutie tippies back. And I'm going to color some leaves. And I'm not even going to put ink on here, okay? I'm just going to use the dry, almost dry Q-tip because with the Very Vanilla, it takes even less ink to put that little bit of color on that I'm looking for. I'm truly looking for just the, oh, I think that's a different color idea. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody to go, oh, that is obviously old olive. I just want them to be able to go, oh, green leaves. Cool. Green leaves. Cool. And I'm going to use my light petal pink blend to just barely touch these little guys. Like so. And if my efficiency was really efficient, I would be doing the envelope at the same time, but letting that little guy dry right there. So we'll do him separately. And then I've got my petal pink. And I'm going to do the same with for my little flower. Okay, again, pretty dry and brushing it off on scrap paper first. And I'm not coloring the whole leaf petal anyway. I'm really just kind of coloring at the base of the petal where the, see, I got a little bit carried away there, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to overcompensate again on the rest of them and make the whole flower be a little darker than I planned. Only you guys and I will know that that is darker than I planned. Your recipient won't. They'll be like, oh, what a pretty pink flower. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to do a quick tap of this with my paper towel just to be sure that I'm dry. Yeah. Okay, so we're safe. We're safe. We're safe. We're safe. And again, just doing a little bit of coloring here with my Q-tip. And we are almost done, you guys. Did y'all have a chance to look at the blog hop today? Boy, there were some pretty projects from the team. I hope you'll take a look. I always love Sketch Week because sketches are so nice to give us a little help getting started, if you know what I mean, Jelly Bean. All right, and again with the, that is not the old olive. Here's the old olive, okay. And we'll give the leaves a little color. And again, perhaps you noticed, maybe you didn't, but perhaps you did. I did not even go back into the ink pad. That's how light this color is. Just kind of keep going over it. Unlike a blending pen or a Stampin' blend, it's hard to overcolor if you take it easy. All right, and again with my light petal pink blend, color these little guys. And there we go. And while we've got the envelope sitting here, we'll put the envelope flap together. Hey, Susan, hopefully you're not ill and you're just there for a routine checkup. But I'm glad you're waiting for him, not the other way around. Very important. Thank you, Rosie. Yep, y'all, I hope you'll come on Saturday night for the YouTube. I don't know what we're going to do. That's just not how I roll. With any luck, I'll know before tomorrow night. But never know. I just hope you'll show up for my YouTube on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. My special bundles are still open, and people are buying them up, especially the in-color bundle. It's a great way to get the new in-colors, all of the things, the papers and the inks and the refills and the blends and the markers and all of the things. Okay, so the envelope is done. Now I'm just going to assemblize the card, and I'm using a thick, very vanilla card base. I could have used crumb cake. That would have worked too, but I like the very vanilla. And we're going to mat it on petal pink. Isn't this a pretty color combination? Petal pink and crumb cake and the soft succulent. Really just a soft color. And the old olive doesn't stand out and make you go, oh, look, there is old olive, which is good because that would be weird. So if color ever talks to you, I don't know for sure, but I think that's bad. I don't think that's a great thing. All right. And put it on the inside. This is Mary's idea of clean and simple right here. Vanilla on pink on vanilla. There it is. Clean and simple. Look at me, Ma. I did Cass. Ah. Okay, now somewhere here are my dimensionales. There they are. And we'll go ahead and pop our card front on with those dimensionales. And we will be done-ske, baby, done-ske. Do y'all have good plans, big plans for the weekend? We are desperately trying to get our watering system in. There's a very limited window in the morning to work before it gets too hot out in the garden. But we've got 2 out of the 4 zones hooked up. It's kind of cool because I can make it start from my phone. I have to be out kind of close to it yet, but I don't have to go try to mess with it. I can just say, water zone 4 for an hour. And it says, okay, and then it turns on. It doesn't say okay, it just turns on. All right, let's be sure we have this right side up and wrong side down. And there we go. Okay. And that, as they say in some industry somewhere, is that. So you've learned how to color the new natural thread, natural finish ribbon. You've learned how to use a Q-tip to color, in case you did not know that. And let's see, what else did you learn? Oh, I wanted to show you something right quick. So one thing that's kind of cool about this magnetic plate is it's touted as a self-healing mat. Now, this is going to get better as the day goes on, but I've done a lot of die cutting on this, and there is really not a whole lot of indentation in this kind of suede-y soft cover. So, I mean, you can see marks, and I don't think you'll ever get rid of that. But the cool thing is this is the metallic plate with the magnet between, and it is heavy, it is solid, it is staying flat, and it's magnet from corner to corner, edge to edge, which is huge when you're trying to line up dies. Okay, so highly, highly, highly recommend the new magnetic cutting plate. Okay, all right, guys, I appreciate you spending part of your Thursday with me. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and that I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks so much. Bye.